So we're going to revisit Lotus Mudra. So you're going to bring the heels of your hands to meet. Then little finger and thumb are going to come and touch. And then bring your thumb to your heart center. So your Lotus Mudra. And then just gently close down your eyes. And bring your attention to your breath. Don't try and change it. Just notice where it is. And then, as we've just had a new moon, which is a time of bringing in the things and the hopes and the dreams and the things that we wish for, and I've started thinking about now how we're going to come out of this. You know, we're getting more and more notifications that shops can open and schools are opening and things. So I thought now would be a good time to set our intention for how we want life to be when this is all over, or we start to just get a little bit more freedom of movement. So just take a few minutes to draw into your mind's eye anything that you want to bring into your life when lockdown's over, or if there's anything from this period that you've enjoyed and you want to keep into your life. Just take a few moments to think of those things and visualize them and bring them into your heart center. If there's one thing that stands out more, that resonates more in your heart, that brings maybe more joy to you. And let's just set our intention on this practice to bring in that one thing into your life moving forward. And then on your next inhale, I want you to draw your hands up to the sky, keeping your Lotus Mudra open. And just offer that intention, that wish, that dream, that hope, that thing you want to keep, or that thing you want to manifest out to the universe. And then just separate your hands and bring them down to the side of your body. Just keeping your eyes closed, just take a few more moments to feel that within your heart and become aware of your breath. And then very slowly make your way down to laying on your back, but keep your knees bent. I'm going to try a little bit of a breathing exercise where we want to open up the ribs, open up that heart. So just let your hands gently fall next to your body, fingertips lightly curled. And just become aware of your breath and where it is. And then just notice your belly rising and falling. And really try and relax your stomach as you breathe out. Breathe in, feel your stomach rise. And breathe out, just relax and just see how far it can sink. And you might start to feel a opening and a stretching and your diaphragm just under your ribs. And just focus on lengthening that exhale completely all the way out and relaxing your stomach so your ribs stick up a little bit. If you want to bring your hands and place them on your ribs so you can feel them, do so. And then if you can, try and at the bottom of that exhale, engage Uddiyana Bandha, where we pull the belly button down and up, and we draw the diaphragm right up into the rib cage. Exhaling all the way, and then drawing up and out in the rib cage, and just hold it for a couple of seconds and release. And you might feel that sensation that your ribs are getting wider and wider with every breath. Just taking small breaths and just playing around with Uddiyana Bandha, drawing that lock up, letting your ribs flare. Now I want you to take a nice deep breath in. Let the belly rise up to the sky, and then as you exhale, relax the stomach all the way down, completely emptying the lungs, and then draw Uddiyana Bandha. Draw your belly button up and in. And you might feel like a stretching under your ribs, or you might feel a pulsating in the middle of your stomach, and that's okay. Release when you need to, and come back to a normal breathing pattern, a normal exhalation length. And just notice if your rib cage just feels that little bit looser, just moving just a little bit more fluid. And now we're going to draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug and a squeeze. And we're going to circle the knees in an anti-clockwise direction, warming up that lower back. And then we'll go in the other direction, clockwise direction. Feeling that massage on your lower back. Nice rhythmical circle, warming up that fused part of the spine. Back to centre, and then we'll take the knees in opposite directions to one another. Really focusing on opening up the hips, get that full range of motion in the hips. Change direction. And you might find it's easier in one direction than the other, and that's okay. Back to centre, nice gentle squeeze, and place your knees on the floor and take your legs down flat into your Shavasana. So your legs are mat width apart, arms by the sides. As we inhale, we're going to bring the hands up and over the head. And I want you to exhale here fully again. Feel all that air leave your lungs. And then see if you can engage Uddiyana Bandha here. Draw your belly button in and up. Flaring the ribs out. Inhale when you need to, and release that lock. We're going to inhale, lift the right hand and the right foot just 2 inches off the ground, and we're going to stretch through the centre of the body. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, left hand, left foot 2 inches from the ground. Stretch all the way through that side seam of the body. Exhale, lower down. Take the arms wider, take the feet wider. And we're going to lift the right hand and the left foot just 2 inches from the ground. Open the toes, open the fingers, and stretch through that centre of the body. Exhale, lower down. And then left hand, right foot. Lift, stretch, lengthen, expand. Exhale, lower down. And we're going to bring the knees back into a bent position. And what I want you to do is we're going to take your right leg up to the sky. Try and get a right angle here in your hip, and then a right angle here in your ankle. Keep that leg nice and straight if you can. And we're going to circle the foot in an anti-clockwise direction, nice and controlled. Try and get that full range. I'd rather you did less slower than more and not get the full range. Now we're going to go in the other direction. So the toes pointed right up, comes all the way to the side, as far forward as you can, all the way to the inner side and all the way up. So you're really working that ankle. One more in this direction. And then back to that start position with your 2 right ankles. Bring that foot down. We'll do the same on the left. So left leg straight up in the air. And we're going to circle that foot anti-clockwise. Stretch as far to the left and up, to the right, forward as you can. And then in the other direction. Really working that ankle. Back to centre, that foot comes down. And now we're going to lift up the right leg, keep a right angle in the knee. And you're going to circle that lower part of the leg in a clockwise direction. And again, try and get the movement from the knee, isolating the thigh if you can. So it might be a small circle. Now we're going to go anti-clockwise. Really feel that thigh fighting, it wants to move. Drop that foot down and then the same on the left. So we'll go anti-clockwise first. Try and keep it a circle. Mine wants to do a figure of 8. And then the other way. Drop that leg down. Now we're going to do similar to what we did last week, where we did the cycling with the leg, but we're going to bring the hip out to the side. So you can either keep your knee bent, your left leg bent, or you can straighten it down. I'm going to keep it bent. We're going to inhale, squeeze the knee in, then we're going to drop it out to the right. As we inhale, we're going to try and straighten it with it still rolled out to the right. Then we're going to rotate it back to centre and then lift it up. Squeeze it in as you exhale. Inhale, drop it out. Keep it rotated outwards as you straighten it, and then when you've got it as straight as you can, rotate your toe back up to the sky and lift up. Squeeze in, drop it out. And we're going to do your own breath. Do 2 more like this. And then when you squeeze in here, we're going to go the opposite way. So we're going to go up to the sky, straighten it out to the ground, rotate the toe out to the right, and bring it in up the side and to centre. Straighten up to the sky, drop down, rotate it out, and come round up to the sky. 2 more like this. Straighten that leg down, or you can keep it bent. And then we're going to go on to the left. So squeeze it in, drop it out to the left, straighten it out with it still rotated, rotate up to the toe up to the sky, and lift the foot. Squeeze it in, drop it out. Roll and lift. And again, keep control of this movement. Don't let momentum take over. Really focus on the muscles working. Lift up. Next time we squeeze into the chest, we're going to reverse. Up to the sky, lower down to the ground. Turn the foot out to the left, bend the knee in. Might start to hear some cricks and cracks. One more in this direction. When you've squeezed that knee in, just straighten your legs down into Shavasana. Can't see any feet in the air, so first of all done. So now I want you to bring your feet into a prayer position and drop your knees away from each other. And bring your hands out to make a cactus. So bend your elbows so your shoulders are fully connected to the mat. Don't straighten them, just bend them so you're in like a cactus with your arms. Now if this feels like an okay stretch for you in your back, it's nice and comfortable, we can do a little bit of more of a hip opener here by scooching your shoulders towards your bottom to create a little arch in your back. And that will just open you up just a little bit more through the front of the body and open you through the chest. But only go as far as is comfortable. And I want you to breathe again into this space where your solar plexus is, just under your ribs. Raising the heart to the sky. fully breathing out, completely emptying your lungs. Make your exhalation longer than your inhalation. Release any tension in your hips. Let the knees fall wider apart. If you have created that back bend, just walk your shoulders back so that your back is flat now on the mat. And just take a few minutes here, a few breaths with your back flat. And now we've got two options here. We can either come into happy baby, so you can bend your knees into almost to your armpits, and you can take hold of your feet with your hands either on the inside of the arches, on the outside of the feet, or you can take your first two fingers and hold your toes and draw your knees into your armpits. But try and keep your back flat. Don't let your tailbone curl in the air. Lengthen the spine. If that feels okay for you, you can release your hands to your feet and take your legs straight up into the air. Keep your feet active and then just let your legs fall apart. Rotate the hips out. Don't let them come down towards the ground. Keep them vertical, but just separate them. We're not going to pull. We're not going to put any pressure on them. We're just going to stay here and try and keep your coccyx as close to the mat as possible. So if you're on a happy baby, the back's flat, or if your legs are out straight. And again, breathe here, lengthening with every exhalation. Lengthen your exhale, make your exhale longer than your inhale. Well done, everyone. If your legs are straight, bend them in. Give yourself a squeeze and maybe gently rock from side to side. If you're in happy baby, bring them in, let go. Bring them in from side to side. And then we're going to roll over onto your the front, so you're onto your hands and knees. And again, we've got two options here. You can either come from a tabletop, walk your hands forward and bring your bottom back a little bit into poppy pose. If you're going to come into poppy pose, what I want you to do is to walk your shoulders away from your ears and just play with rolling your shoulder blades around your shoulders. Try and keep your arms straight and just play with rolling and loosening up your shoulders. If you want to go just a little bit further in the hips, you want to challenge the hips just a little bit more. From our tabletop, we're going to take the knees as wide as we can. Now, those with dodgy knees might not like this. Turn your feet out. Try and keep right angles. Don't splay too much. So there's a right angle from your knee to your ankle and in your ankles as well. And take them as far as you can. And then we're just going to lower down onto our forearms. And from here, we're going to play with squeezing our shoulder blades to meet and separating them. So choose where you want to be. You can either be in poppy pose or you can come into this wide leg frog. And when you're in the bottom half is comfortable, Then we're going to play around with loosening those shoulders. So we're squeezing them together and drawing them apart. So they're wrapping around your rib cage. If you notice your ears are coming up to your ears, lengthen the neck, draw them away from the ears, and then squeeze. If you're in puppy pose, notice whether your elbows are bending. Keep your elbows straight. I can't see any of you. When you need to come out, so from your wide leg frog, come up onto your hands and walk your knees in. From your puppy pose, walk your hands to your knees, come back into that tabletop. And we're going to find our first downward dog now. So we're going to tuck our toes under, make sure our fingers are spread. We're going to bring our bottom down to meet our heels, draw our belly in, lift the knees off and bring the bottom of the tailbone up into the air. Keep your knees bent for this first one. Check in, are your ears in line with your biceps? Make sure you're evenly weighted through your hands. And I want you to just move around in your downward dog. Freestyle, do whatever you want to do. If you want to come onto your tiptoes, you want to just adjust your hands a little bit, maybe bend one leg, walk your dog. You might want to come into a plank. Just have a little move around, just have a little bit of freedom in this posture. Whatever feels comfortable and nice for you. If you want to bring a leg up into the air, and then come and find some stillness. So once you've moved around in your first downward dog, just play around with it and then find the stillness. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths here. Breathing in for 1. And 2. And 3. Now I want you to come up onto your toes, bring your weight forward into your hands and bring your right foot through in between your hands. And then lower your left knee and untuck your left toes. And then from here we're going to put all of our weight into our left arm and we're going to twist and lift our right arm up to the sky. Now just squeeze your thighs together so your hips are in line, so it will bring your right hip back just a little bit. Imagine your inner thighs want to meet, and that will just help you twist just that little bit more. Stack one shoulder on top of the other, don't dump into this left arm. If that feels okay for you, you can tuck that left toe and straighten that left leg if you want to, if that feels okay for you. Breathe here for 2. And 1. Your next inhale, bring that right hand down. And we're going to step back into our downward dog. Come up onto your toes, forward onto your hands, and bring the left foot forward. Drop that right knee, untuck the toes. Control in this left leg. This is your grounding. Place all your weight into your right hand, and we're going to lift the right hand and twist. Now again, just check in with the hips. Squeeze those thighs together so that hip goes back just a little bit. And then if that feels okay for you, you can straighten your right leg. Just heel back, activate that other leg, the straight leg if you've come up onto it. Don't let the bent leg do all the work. Stack your shoulders. Lovely, everyone. Really nice. Breathe in for 1 and 2, and then lower down and step back into your downward dog. Now again, just check in with your hands. Are you evenly weighted? Between your hands are all 10 fingers and all 10 toes evenly supporting you. From here, I want you to lift your right leg into the air. Take it behind you. Activate that leg, it's nice and strong. And then we're going to swing it all the way through, in between your hands. Turn your left foot to face the long edge of your mat. Completely ground yourself through your legs. Both legs are activated. We are going to inhale, take the hands off the mat, start to lift up. Exhale, come up to your warrior 2. Just check in, is this knee nice and bent? Can you still see that toe? Is the knee falling inwards? Draw it so it's in line with your foot. Make sure the back edge of your left foot is connected to the mat. This left leg is activated and strong. Tailbone is tucked. Hands are as far away from one another as possible. So your arms are lifting out of your shoulder sockets. We're going to inhale, straighten our right leg and bring our hands up to meet above our crown. We're going to exhale, we're going to bend that front leg. Inhale, squeeze with that front thigh. Exhale, lower down. 2 more times. Inhale, squeeze, straighten that leg. Exhale. 1 more time. Squeeze. Exhale. From here with control, same way we went in, keep the legs strong. We're going to windmill over. Hands down, step back into your downward dog. Find your stillness. Then inhale, left leg up to the sky. Bring it through in between your hands. Turn left foot, the right foot, so it's facing the long edge of your mat. Engage your legs. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, come up to your warrior. Again, check in with your hips, check in with your knee. Don't let that knee fall in. Hips are open. Back edge of that right foot. Legs are activated. Hands are separated. Look over that front hand, your left hand. Inhale, straighten, squeeze. Bring the hands up above the head. Exhale. Bend that front leg, don't let it drop in. Keep it turned out. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Lower down with control. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. In, up. Exhale, down. And again, with control, you are going to lower your hands down and come into your downward dog. Right, from here, take take a few breaths here. I want you to breathe in nice and deep. Nice, 3 breaths. On your next inhale, I want you to squeeze your knee into the centre, and then you're going to kick it out behind you. Then you're going to squeeze your knee, right knee to right elbow, kick it out behind you. Then we're going to bring it in front, right knee to left elbow, kick it out in front of you. And then this time I want you to bring that right knee to meet your right wrist and place that shin on the floor. Then wiggle the left leg back and then roll to sit on your right hip. This is not going to be dignified. We're going to come into pigeon, but as you know, I've got dodgy knees, so anybody else with dodgy knees, only work to whatever feels comfortable for you, okay? So I'm going to just come round to the front to show you. But what I want you to do is bring your foot up so your heel is in line with your knee. So you've got your mat, you can use your mat as a measurement. So your foot will be here and you'll be in line with the short edge of your mat, and then your hip will come down the other long edge of your mat. If you need to bring this left knee up and be in 2 bent legs, that is fine. If you can, scooch it back, go as far as feels comfortable. Nothing should pull or twing or twang, okay? But we want a nice stretch through here on the left, and you'll also should feel a nice stretch through the right hip as well. So the front of the left and the back of the right. I don't want anything in here. There shouldn't be any discomfort in here. Once you've found your semi-comfortable position, we can turn, twist, and just lower yourself over that thigh, your right thigh. Just come down to forearms. And when you're here, I want you to breathe, don't hold your breath. If you can work that straight leg a little bit more, just to intensify this stretch, please do, but don't put any pressure on this knee, okay? So we're compromising the posture to protect the knees. And just take a few breaths here. With every breath, relax into that area of tension. I'm gonna see any of you. Come out whenever you feel you need to. So come back up to a sitting position, bend your back knee whenever you feel you need to. But we're going to go back into our downward dog, so we're going to do it on the other side. So we're going to lift back up into our downward dog. You might feel you've got one leg longer than the other now. We're going to squeeze the knee into the centre, take it out behind. Squeeze the left knee to the right elbow, take it out behind. And then we're going to squeeze it into the left elbow and then drop it down to that left knee. And then scooch your right leg back so that you can come and sit on your left hip. Then we're going to bring the foot up to being in line with the knee. Okay? If you need to bend your right leg up, or you can keep it straight, wherever is comfortable for you. No discomfort in this posture. We can stay up here if that feels like it's enough, or you can come to lay over that thigh. Once you're down, If you want to straighten the leg a little bit more, just play around. Again, no undue pressure on that knee. Take a few deep breaths here, relaxing into any area of tension, releasing those muscles, but also trying to intensify the stretch a little bit. So finding that balance between a nice comfortable stretch and pushing your body too far. You know your body. Come up into a seated position, scoot that leg round and come back into your downward dog. By now your hips should be nice and open, your tailbone up to the sky. You might now be able to get the heels down to the mat. You might be able to straighten the legs a little bit more. Draw the shoulders around the ribs. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Tailbone up. We're going to take 3 breaths here. Inhale once. Exhale fully. Inhale twice. Exhale fully. Inhale for a 3rd time. And as you exhale, I want you to come into a plank, lower your knees, come down onto your forearms, drop down, drop the belly down onto the mat. Drop with grace. Don't just flop, drop. So now we're in Sphinx pose. Take your feet wide. Arms are shoulder width apart. Hands and forearms are flat on the mat. And we're going to inhale, just lift the heart up to the sky. And I want you to breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 4. Feeling that front of your body lengthening with every exhalation. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Relax the heels away from one another. In for 4 and out for 4. On your next inhalation, I want you to just lift yourself up and walk yourself back through your tabletop down into a kneeling posture. And we're going to visit our challenge posture of camel. So come up onto your knees. Now we've been here before, we know we need to protect our back. So we're squeezing our glutes, just making that bay window. But we're going to bring our intention back in here now. So bring your hands back into lotus posture. Bring your thumb to your heart. And just gently close your eyes. And draw that intention back into your heart. Really feel it again. Take a few breaths here, strengthening that image of that intention. Then on your next inhale, I want you to activate your glutes, draw your tummy in, and just create a really gentle bay window. Just lengthening through the front of your body. Take a few breaths here, building that intention in your heart. Making sure you're grounded with your shins and your feet. And then on your next inhalation, I want you to raise your lotus up to the sky, sending that intention out to the universe. Exhale, open the arms, release the glutes, and bring your bottom down to meet your heels into a child's pose, into your balasana. Bring your hands down by the sides of your legs, so your thumbs are next to your little fingers, and gently place your forehead on the mat. While you're here in child's pose, draw the shoulders away from the ears, and then let the shoulder blades drape around the thighs and the knees. Feel the back of your body expand as you breathe in, and the pressure of your belly against your thighs. And then as you exhale, lengthen the spine so the tailbone and the top of the head get far apart as possible. And you sink and drape just a little bit lower over the legs. Take a few more breaths here, lengthening and expanding. And then very slowly bring yourself up to a kneeling position, and we're going to find a nice comfortable seated posture for your meditation. So whether you want to be cross-legged, whether you want to be on a block, you can be in Dandasana with your legs out straight. If you want to lean against some furniture, a wall, however's comfortable for you. When we meditate, there needs to be action within the body. So if you are leaning against a wall, don't slump into it and relax into it. Keep your posture, there's activation while you're there. If you might want to put a jumper on, I don't know, you might have cooled down a little bit. And then very, very slowly, I want you to just gently flutter your eyes closed. And then just draw your attention to your breath. Relax your tongue, relax your teeth. And bring your attention to your heart. Now you can either bring your hands into lotus posture, Lotus Mudra, or you can come into chin mudra with your index fingers and thumbs touching, and place it on your thighs. Whichever feels more comfortable for you. But bring your intention into your heart, that heart space. Now when we are in your heart, that intention, you've brought it into your heart. When we're in meditation and we find stillness, like I was saying earlier, when we release the focus, it's where our energy flows. So the stillness that we find in meditation is when we become one with ourself. And that's what I want to try and do during this meditation, is to connect you with yourself. Because when we're connected with ourselves, we're connected with the energy of the universe, because energy knows no boundaries and it just moves freely and fluidly between everything and everybody. So we are all connected now in this practice, but you need to be connected with yourself to be connected with the universe. So just draw yourself into your heart space and feel that intention that we created earlier. Let it absorb through your entire body. And then I just want you to say to yourself internally, I am, and your full name. So I am Danielle Walsh. And just repeat that a few times over and over. And notice any changes you may feel in your heart. And then I want you to just say to yourself internally, I am, and your first name. So I am Danielle. And repeat that a couple of times and sit with how that feels in your heart. And then I just want you to say, I am. And repeat that a couple of times. And then sit with that in your heart. I am. I am. And just sit with that stillness and that silence. Connect with your being. Connecting them with the power of the universe. Now I want you to take a nice deep breath in and slowly breathe out through your mouth. Deep breath in through the nose. And again, all the way out slowly through the mouth. Release either Chin Mudra or Lotus Mudra. Keeping that intention in your heart. You can gently flutter your eyes open, but just slowly bring yourself down to a laying position for relaxation. So come down into your Shavasana. Onto your backs. Relax the hips so the feet fall apart. Arms gently by your side. Fingertips lightly curled up to the sky. Just gently bring the chin into the chest, just to lengthen the neck. And then just breathe. Your own breathing rate. Shavasana is where the practice takes hold. And again, this is where the stillness has the power. I got sent a really nice story at the weekend, and I'm going to try and remember it. And it's about a CEO of a really big company who works really long hours, and he's away abroad somewhere on a conference, and he's got a really busy day ahead of him. He decides to go for a walk, and he goes to the harbour and he watches the fishermen coming in, and there's one little boat he notices with just one gentleman on it, and he looks really happy and really pleased with himself, and he goes over and he sits next to him and he says, "Oh, are you pleased with your catch?" And the fisherman says, "Yes, I am, yeah, I'm really pleased with it." And he said, "Is that you done for the day?" And he said, "Yeah, this is me done for the day. I'm going to go home. I've got enough food for a nice lunch. I've got a little house just not far from here, looks out over the sea." He said, "My wife is waiting for me, and we'll have some lunch together." And he said, "Maybe we'll have a siesta." He said, "Maybe we'll have a little bit of loving." He said, "And then he will wait for the children to come home from school, and we'll have some more dinner, and we might play a game, and we might sing." He said, "And we'll share stories of our day, and then we'll watch the sunset, and we'll all go to sleep, and we'll sleep happily and contented. And we'll start the day tomorrow." And the CEO of the big company said, "Have you ever thought about going out again?" And the fisherman said, "Well, no, why would I? I've got enough for my day." And the CEO said, "Yeah, but it's only lunchtime. You could go out again and you could get twice as much fish, and then you would make twice as much money, and then if you made more money you could maybe buy another boat, and then you could employ some people, and they would then catch like even more fish if they went out twice a day, and you could get another boat, and then if you had a fleet of boats, maybe you could then float your business on the stock exchange, and I could help you with that. And then, in a few years you may have worked really, really hard, but we could sell your business and it would make you lots of money, and you could buy yourself a nice house by the sea, and you and your wife could sit with your grandchildren and share stories of your life and watch the sunset and spend the rest of your days happy and content." And the fisherman just looked at the CEO and said, "But I'm confused." And the CEO said, "But I'm confused." And I just really liked that story moving forward when we come out of lockdown. So just let that story sit with you. Let that stillness sit with you. Let silence sit with you. Now I want you to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, move your body however you need to, rock your head from side to side, maybe have a stretch and a yawn. And roll yourself over when you feel ready onto one side. And just stay here on one side, just for a few moments, just letting the practice settle in. And then when you feel ready, just bring yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands into your lotus. And just one final time, connect with that intention that we set at the very beginning of the class. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, draw it up to the universe. And release it out to the universe. Bring your hands into heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let the light within me honour the light within you. Thank you, everyone.